Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Almost Wealthy, the channel where I document my real journey to $1 million portfolio. Today, I want to talk about one of the ETFs I have in my portfolio, which is SCHG, and specifically why I own it. Let's get into it. So, first off, what is even SCHG? It's the Schwab U.S. Large Cap Growth ETF. Basically, its goal is to track the total returns of the Dow Jones U.S. large cap stocks. Basically, it's a basket of the biggest companies. As you can see on the screen, the total holdings right now include NVIDIA at over 11%, Apple at around 9.5%, Microsoft at 7.5%, Amazon at 5.3%, and there's some Meta, some Tesla, Broadcom, Alphabet, which pretty much rounds up the top 10. So yeah, you kind of already know what this ETF is about. It's pretty much the companies that are pretty much running the world right now. Here's why this is in my portfolio. I'm bending towards $1 million, and I need growth in order to get there. Dividends are great, so I do have SCHD in my portfolio, which I'll have an individual video talking about that. But SCHG is basically my long-term compounder. This is an ETF I'm going to be holding pretty much for decades. The numbers back that up. SCHG has a historical annual return of 16.5% since inception, and it's gained nearly 35% in 2024 alone. The kind of compounding over 20 to 30 years is genuinely pretty much wealth building when it comes to this ETF. And the cost to own it, the expense ratio is just 0.04%, which is basically free. You're getting exposure to the best growth companies in the world for essentially nothing. But now I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there's all this upside. Since I started this position, I'm currently down on this position. That's the reality of owning a growth stock. ETF, SCHG is tech heavy, and some analysts have pointed out that the valuations pretty much are stretched. The mega cap tech does carry real risk, so you just have to keep that in mind. But you have to understand that, though. I'm not trading this. I'm not trying to time my entries. This is basically a set it and forget it for my portfolio. A bad month doesn't mean that's going to change a 20-year thesis. So this sits in my freedom of time portfolio on M1 Finance. Right now, it's one of my biggest allocations at 35%, and that's intentional. Growth is basically an engine. SCHD handles the income, VYMI handles the international exposure, and SCHG is the thing I'm betting on to do the heavy lifting over time. So basically, that's why I own SCHG. I want to own the best companies in America at the lowest possible cost, and I want to hold them for a very long time. Pretty much simple as that. If you want to follow my journey, the wins, the losses, and the actual numbers, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.